D&D Stories, Episode 3, 20's versus a Vampire. Enjoy. So, this story is from the very first game I had ever officially DM'd. It was a long time ago. We'd been running a homebrew based on AD&D, and I'd only owned the blue starter book and the red starter book, so I didn't have too many rules available at the time. Vampires during that edition were tougher than explaining to your mom why your search history contained 16 different spellings of squirrel gangbang Brazilian tit job, and then explaining to your girlfriend why the girl with the heart in your phone isn't her name, all the while reciting the alphabet backwards. Upside down. They had the power to level drain you, not just once, but 2 full levels from a single easy-to-use ability, and back then, leveling took a month or 2 at least. They weren't things you wanted to fuck with, let's just say. The original party had been venturing through a mountain filled with undead who'd been sealed away during a necromantic surge, a story I'll probably get to later whenever I'm doing lore. They were not meant to engage in combat, but rather hide and try to survive. I had included an NPC who had been an elf from a party of the 16 best knights in the country. The rest of the party left him in a cell, but one character, Lyric, Lyric is one of the 3 longest-standing characters I've had in my quests, and have continued their plot relevancy long into the stages of being NPCs. That's another set of stories. There are too many. Lyric was a rogue who had stumbled across some claws that dealt sunlight damage on a 20 and fire damage on a regular roll. Lyric fought to save the man by wading through 15 zombies, each intent on killing her and turning her into a zombie. She managed to avoid getting hit entirely. She got to the hunter when a vampire showed up. The vampire gave her one chance to run and leave the hunter. She defiantly pulled out her claws and beckoned for him to fight. Lyricania at this point was a level 2. A single touch from the vampire would automatically kill her, and the player was very aware. However, the character refused to leave anyone behind, and I, not wanting to see a player who just hit level 2 die, tried so hard as a DM to give her an out. But no, that fucking hunter was just so important, it was worth her life. So the vampire lunged for her, and I sighed. With the vampire's Thaco versus her armor class, the vampire needed an 8 to hit. So I said, "Sorry, Lyric, but you..." I looked down. "You get to live one more turn, 'cause I rolled a 1. The vampire swiped playfully, not even coming close, giving her one more chance to run. Lyric, the cocky wood elf she is, punched with the claws. She needed a 19 or better to hit. The first 20 came as a surprise. Sunlight damage tore his flesh open, so that was her last chance. And then I rolled a fucking 1. The enraged vampire leapt forth, but smashed into the cell behind her, unable to keep balance from the shearing pain. Lyric rolled a 20, pummeling her with the sunlight claws. The vampire failed a savings throw and was paralyzed from pain. The vampire still had a lot of HP left, so I wasn't worried. The god of 18's blessed her this day. Lyricania rolled 12 20's in a fucking row and shattered my level 6 party boss like it was fucking nothing. This was my first of many, mind you, times that I was totally stunned by a player's action, so I awarded her the victory, and the hunter traveled with them until he got bit by a zombie 2 rooms later. I fucking rolled a 20. How about that, huh? How about fucking that? All your work. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Lyricania instantly leveled after killing the vampire, because fucking duh, and she became my first ever player to hit level 3. 12 20's versus a vampire turns out to be an uneven fight. Flash forward 6 years later, the player who made Lyricania, the girl who voices the Grim Reaper character on the show, is now playing 5th edition with us. Side note, I genuinely love 5th edition. Despite some flaws I have with it, I should do a compare and contrast D&D edition someday. We decided to play Horde of the Dragon Queen, the first big adventure for 5th edition, if I'm not mistaken. One more side note. Horde of the Dragon Queen is single-handedly the worst adventure I have ever played. I've played D&D since my dad first DM'd for me and my mom when I was 5, and non-stop since, and this is unabashedly the worst adventure of all time. It nearly killed 5e for me and my group, and actually sort of did for a few months. I didn't buy anything, I didn't even give it a second look, moved back to AD&D and called it quits. It's boring, predictable, the plot is absolutely stupid, it's easy, and if you look at it more than skin deep, it actually fucking makes no sense whatsoever. I may make a video on that too. Man, I have so many fucking things to talk about, and you will listen to them all. Right? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Lyric makes a chaos sorcerer male drow named Ravioli. Technically, she put work into coming up with a fucking 15-syllable name that followed all drow tradition. By the way, we're nerds. But Ravioli stuck better. In Horde of the Dragon Queen, after the first main event, you get a taste of the party boss later. A fairly traditional move. The party boss moves in with his army and demands a challenger. He pointed at the burly swordsman armed to the teeth, the fighter in the group. But instead, this brown tunic-clad drow with less physical power than 4th edition's shelf life steps down. down. So I imagined the fight to be a complete beatdown. Then I looked at this party boss, antagonist for half the adventure's stats. He was weaker than some of the regular enemies, for Christ's sakes. He had 57 HP. This may require a bit of 5th edition knowledge. If you don't know the terms, I'll try to define them on screen. She used a sorcery point to cast Twin's spell and cast a minor damaging spell, bringing him to 40 HP. After the first turn, I laughed and went to attack, and rolled a 2. After the first turn, he laughed and went to attack, and rolled a 2. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh my god, this guy's a total pussy. And on her turn, she ran away. The attack opportunity fucking missed, of course, and cast Sleep. Sleep rolls a 5d8, and that's how many hit points it puts creatures to sleep with. It can put whole groups of weak enemies to sleep, or one somewhat tough enemy. It's always sort of been like that. She rolls 5 8s. 5 8s. The higher level antagonist, meant to last half the adventure, gets put to sleep and his throat is slit. Because why the fuck not ruin a whole adventure? Ravioli perished by getting torn in half by a minotaur, so at least there's that. Thank you for listening. Be sure to like the video, comment your feedback, and if you like the channel so far, subscribe. See ya.